Hey y'all, hope you're doing well. Today we're here to talk about motherhood. I interviewed my beautiful mother, Sherry, a mother of 3 children. She was really pumped to participate. Her identity as a mother is very close to her heart. So Sherry got pregnant pretty young, but always wanted to be a mother. She kinda always felt like a mother though because of her 4 younger siblings. And many family and friends assumed that she would have children and be a good mother. This brought us onto the topic of being a good mom versus a bad mom. In Sherry's eyes, a good mom is someone who does better than what they were given. So, Sherry came from kind of a poor background, and for her, being a good mom is to give more opportunities than what she was given. A good mom provides and cares for the family. We talked about how there's a theme that good moms usually dress modestly and not sexy, and this led us to talk about mom shaming. Sherry talks about how she feels mom shamed by family members often, and more recently as she's grown to see herself as both a woman and a mother. This led us to talk about maternal instinct. Sherry also believes that men can develop maternal thinking. This is similar to Sarah Ruddick, who believes that it's not exclusive for just women, that maternal instinct takes empathy and peacekeeping. Sherry talks about how her father had really great maternal instinct and kept really great peacekeeping skills between her and her 5 siblings. We then got to talking about the 2 aspects of motherhood, the personal and institutional, and that duality within it. This is something Adrienne Rich talks a lot about. Sherry was talking about how she felt that a lot of the time the institutional parts of motherhood made her feel like she was a bad mother. I then asked Sherry to describe her experience as a new mother. She talked about how for the first 4 days she did not sleep because she wanted to make sure that her newborn was breathing. She talked about how she would spend every minute planning out the needs and activities of her newborn, and then her toddler, and then her preteen child. I then read the quote from Sharon Hayes about new momism. It's a highly romanticized yet demanding view of motherhood in which the standards for success are impossible to meet. The insistence that no woman is truly complete or fulfilled unless she has kids or has devoted her entire physical, psychological, emotional, and intellectual being as a mother. The expression on Sherry's face changed by the time I completed that quote. Yes, oh my God, yes, that is how I felt, Sherry said. For a very long time, Sherry only acted as a mother. Everything she did was for her children. Every act she did was to be a good mother. It wasn't until later in life that she learned that she could be a woman and a mother. So then we got to talking about the messiness of motherhood, something that Rosanna Badaruhuka discusses in her article, New Maternalism. She quotes that the good/bad mother spectrum does not reflect the realities of most women's lives, and it fails to recognize the vastness of motherhood. Sherry also discussed how motherhood was not what she expected, but it still was wonderful, but very, very messy. She felt a struggle between being a mother and a woman. This is something that Badaruha also discusses. She says it falsely essentializes and conflates the relationship between being a mother and a woman. Sherry also talks about how she thought motherhood was going to be a fairy tale, but it's actually more like an action movie. This made me think of what Shuri Thur said in her Myths of Motherhood. She discussed how motherhood is not such a fairy tale. We then got to talking about the mommy wars. Sherry's first pregnancy was in 1998. She was a working woman until she got pregnant, and then after that she decided to be a stay-at-home mom. She did see the mommy wars all around her, but she felt pretty supported. We then started to talk about breastfeeding. Sherry discussed how she tried to breastfeed with every child, but every time she had a tough time getting the child to latch. She was shamed by a few friends for formula feeding, but she felt comfortable because she said, screw them. One thing we were talking about was baby books, and neither of us knew the history, so I did some research. So it turns out that in 1914, a baby named Charlie Flood was born, and his baby book was one of the first baby books. The baby books would contain mundane and wondrous details of the infancy. These books didn't just prefigure the modern baby mania of the internet, but they also marked a significant moment. For the likely first time in history, it became common for a whole population to write down their random thoughts about their babies. The baby books, like the baby blogs today, were a new genre that encouraged parents to pay more attention to every tiny detail of their baby. The baby books sometimes had fancy bounded volumes, but sometimes they were often cheap, thin-papered pamphlets. The baby books went mass market in the United States in the beginning of the 1900s and only became more popular over the decades. But why did baby books not appear before then? Well, that was partly because parents could finally count on their babies for surviving. Yeah. Thanks to improved sanitation and new medical devices, infant mortality rates dipped sharply. One thing Sherry mentioned several times was that her experience with motherhood was very manageable because of her privilege. She realized that her white status and her socioeconomic status made parenting much easier for her. Well, thanks y'all for listening. We had a great time making this for you. Have a great day.